Hey everybody, it's Thursday, April 16th, and today we're going to learn about lighting basics in relation to photography. But before that, we're going to check out these super wackadoo drawings. This is on the MFMS Art Instagram page. Feel free to follow if you haven't already. I like these drawings because they're simple and they didn't take a lot of effort from some of you, and they're funny. Like that one is, you couldn't tell, but it was fish food. That picture told me that sometimes people put hot sauce on their potato chips, and I didn't know that before. I learn something new every day. I like that one. I can see how much he wants those Fritos. Simple yet clever. So fun. Thanks to these awesome artists for participating from home. I wish we could all be together in the classroom, but you know, we can't. I really want to do a clay project with you all. Y'all, my plan for after spring break was to start clay right away, but we never came back from spring break. So hopefully we'll go back in a couple weeks and we'll be able to do our clay project before the end of the school year. Even though we can't be at school, seeing you guys put your best effort towards the activities makes me really happy. So when I start to check the assignments and I know that you guys are being creative and investing your time and your thoughts into your artwork, that makes me really happy because that's why I'm an art teacher. So thanks to those of you who are trying really hard. Here's a little announcement for you. Are you bored? Are you missing your friends? Are you missing Mrs. Smith? Come play Pictionary. You're invited. This is a formal invitation. Every weekday from 3 to 4 during my Zoom tutorials, we play Pictionary. And lately we've had a small group, but I think if there are more people, we can form teams and things like that. You might think it would be awkward, and it might be awkward for a little bit, but we get past the awkwardness really quick, and then we just have fun. And people end up doing this. So happy I played Pictionary. So come. If you have friends from school and you miss them, tell them, hey, go to Miss Smith's class, Zoom tutorials, and play Pictionary with me. You guys can come together as a group. Come anytime. All right, let's get started with our photography lesson. Let's look at A and B. Obviously, there's a big difference. A, what's the difference? B, which one's better? This relates to lighting, and whenever you guys started turning in some of your pictures from last week, I realized that we needed to study this because I saw some really dark pictures. Here's a quote for you from a monkey. Without light, there is no photography, and without understanding light, you simply cannot become a great photographer. So this lens right here is kind of like our eye, our eyeball, and it's bringing in light. So just like if you turn the lights out in the room, our eyes can't see. If you turn the lights out in the room, the lens can't see, and you can't take as good of pictures. We're going to start simply by learning to recognize light and shadows. The light can be soft or hard, calming or harsh. Light can show off your image, and shadows can hide it. First, we're going to talk about the direction of light. Let's look at these pictures. Whenever you're shooting photographs, you need to think about where's your light coming from. If it's the sun, it might come from right above, or to the right, or to the left. If it's a ceiling light, it's going to come from above and that's going to make shadows cast on your face in different ways. Let's look at these. The front light is a flat passport effect. 3/4 light is where the light is like kind of not next to, not in front, but kind of to the side of the person. Side light is going to cause a big shadow on one side of the face. Right now on my face, I almost have side light. There's shadow on this side and light on this side. That's because the ceiling fan is right there, and then the light over there is on as well. Backlight is going to give you a silhouette and take away a lot of the details from the front of your subject. A top light is going to give your eyes a big shadow. And the bottom light is just horror film lighting, and we don't really do pictures like that. All right, let's talk first about backlight. Backlight will take away details from your subject, but it can be used artistically. Backlight's not really for beginners. It's kind of hard to get it right. Here's an artistic version of backlighting. You can see her silhouette really plainly. Here's front light. These are some examples. Front light brings out all the details. It's easy to shoot, but it can be flat and boring, so you might want to play around with doing shadows. Here's an example of front light. Here's side light. The light is right next to the person or the subject. Here's examples of side light. Place the light source so it hits the subject from one side. This creates shadows and depth. Light can be next to the subject or to the front side. So like it can be right next to it or up here. I think for us, we should focus both on front light and side light. Don't worry about backlight right now. Here's an example of an artistic use of side light. You can see her face is partially covered in shadows, and it makes it really artsy looking. So you always need to think about, where's your light coming from? See how much this girl's face changes just by where the light is coming from? When it comes to the direction of light, there are 360 degrees of possibilities. When the light isn't working for you, change it by moving your position. You move your position as a photographer. You can move your subject, move it physically, or if it's a person, ask them to move. Or you can move the light itself. You can't really do that with the sunshine, but if you're using a lamp, you can do that. All right, that's the end of direction of light. Let's talk about indoor lighting. This is lighting taken in a house or a building. Indoor photography lighting tips. I've got 4 of them for you. Number 1, use a window or doors and turn off the overhead lights. Natural light is best. It's best to use the sunshine if you can. Place your subject 1 to 2 feet from a window. Play around with backlight, side light, and full light by having your subject face different angles. You can play around with it to see what kind you like. Number 2, if you don't have a good window or if you're shooting at nighttime, you can turn on 1 or 2 lamps, but turn off the lights that are on the ceiling. If you shoot with lights that are on the ceiling, you're going to get shadows all over your subject. Especially, I've noticed that if you, as a photographer, are standing and you're shooting something on the table, it's really easy to get your own shadow, like the shadow from your head, on the subject. And that makes the subject hard to see. Ceiling lights make weird shadows, so turn off the ceiling lights if you can. 3, pay attention to your shadows, always. Move around to take the shadows off of your subject. Try getting closer to your subject. So this one on the left is a backlit cat. You can't really see what's going on, and the focus of the picture is pretty much out the window. This one is different. It's a little bit more artistically done. They got closer to the cat, and then they put the lighting on the front of the cat instead of behind it. 4th tip, use lighting to get creative. This is a really creative photo. You can try playing with light and shadows during different times of day to make the photographs more dramatic, eye-catching, and artistic. Depends on how your camera works, how good of a camera you have. Some cameras are really good at night photography. All right, lastly, we're going to talk about outdoor lighting. That's lighting that's taken outside. I've got 3 tips for you for this. First, you're going to want to shoot in the shade. It's not a good idea to shoot with the sun beaming down on you. It might look really bright and cheerful, but if you look at this little boy, you can see there are harsh shadows around his eyes, and it doesn't really let us see him clearly. When shooting in the shade, you can see he's not squinting, and also we can see his face really clearly. Most of these examples are for people, but these tips go for anything, not just people. Avoid direct sunlight. Direct sunlight is harsh. It creates strong shadows that can be hard to deal with. Number 2, remember the golden hour. Soft golden light appears in the sky right around sunrise and right around sunset. I don't think any of you will be getting up around sunrise, but so maybe around sunset. If you go outside, you'll not notice the sunlight is really golden and soft, and it's easy to get these types of pictures at that time. So this is at 6 p.m., 7:20. It just gives a different mood to your photos when you're shooting around that time. This is the golden hour, and every photographer in the whole world knows about the golden hour. Third, if you can, shoot on a cloudy day. Cloudy days are better for shooting than on sunny days. If it's cloudy outside, you have much less to worry about. So if you want to shoot a bright and cheerful picture, I would do it during the golden hour. Otherwise, you want to stay in the shade and shoot when it's cloudy. Okay, let's review our lesson for today. First, our lighting direction. Notice your light source. Always ask, where is it coming from? Can you change the light source or the subject to make it better? Indoor lighting, use a window with sunlight or turn on one lamp and turn off the ceiling lights. Third is for outdoor lighting. Shoot in the shade or shoot during the golden hour or shoot when it's cloudy. Okay, y'all, that's all I've got for you today. We have no assignment today. So I just want you to take some time and look at this page and kind of process the information that I've given you here. Just using these ideas will make you a lot better photographer. So pause this video, look it over, try to remember it, commit it to memory, and then we'll be doing some shooting tomorrow. All right, I'll see y'all later.